Hello, SGD, and one of the things you'll probably like in regards to lost ancient high technology, cataclysm, meltwater pulse 1b, but the megalithic era is brought up, and that somehow there was this spiritual, telekinetic, telepathic master civilization in the past that knew all the secrets. They were on a higher level than us troglodytes that exist now, and they must have had advanced civilization because the megalithic period, which is a totally made up term, mega, big, lith, stone. So there was this period, people had advanced, superior, ancient, lost high technology. They were able to move large stones, and somehow cutting a large stone is somehow different from cutting a small stone. I don't get it, but apparently this sort of seems to be the logic that they're working on. And well, where are these megaliths? Well, it's important that for the megalithic argument that they don't show contrary information, because their argument is, well, it can't be done, therefore it lost ancient high technology. If it couldn't be done, that would be a strong argument. Well, it's impossible, therefore it must be something else. Absolutely valid, very, very, very strong argument if that was true and if that was the case. But it's not the case, and the industry, the megalithic industry, relies on concealing information and then claiming that they're the ones being censored and oppressed. So Trajan's column, total height 115 feet or 35 metres high, 98 feet, 38 metres high, not including the base. It's made up of 20 megalithic marble columns that were 20 that were 32 tonnes each. And any other place, these would be impossible megaliths. So they've set up, they've pointed to a megalith, so stones of the same weight. And well, you have to lift them up to this height, this impossible height, and then place them on top. Also the transportation from the Carrara marble quarries. The capital at the top is 53 tonnes. Oh, but the Roman cranes couldn't lift more than a tonne. This is just, again, it's a nonsense. It's just completely made up. And when you apply it and correct them, they still repeat the same thing again. That's how you can tell a flim-flam man from one who's actually interested in truth. This is a business, all right. Oh, but this must have been, the Romans just come along and carved in their relief carving. This was an inheritance, must have been an inheritance. Okay, then the Iowa State Soldiers Monument, this one's made of granite, 25, 30-tonne column capitals had to be placed on top of the column itself. These are megaliths and so 1895, big modern cranes weren't available then. This is recorded, this is even like photographed. They just used conventional ancient techniques. All modern lifting equipment is based on the principles of, 110 feet even, well, good comparison. All modern lifting equipment is based on sailing equipment. The amount of, not even in a gale, just in just a strong wind, when the sailors have to tighten, manage the sail, lifting them up, not such a problem. But when you have to tighten, strengthen this, and maneuver the sails, the forces on those sails are in the tens and tens of tons. They don't have 5,000 men on the deck to pull these. They used capstans. They used leverage and block and tackle to do that. To deny that people couldn't lift is to deny that sailing existed. So this 1895, and this is, again, so many other examples, this is megalithic. So this piece also must be an inheritance of the advanced, lost ancient high technology civilization, something, pulse water melt, something, Graham Hancock. No, okay. So Parthenon, the architraves, the beams going across the top of the capitals, they would qualify. Again, anywhere else, this is a megalithic stone. But when we know, and there's records, they ignore these places. That's a megalith on top of there. The granite columns here at Baalbek, the Romans couldn't have moved these 60-ton columns, but therefore it was inheritance. But the architraves on top are of comparable weight. Corinthian columns, beautifully carved as well, and these pieces were megalithic and again lifted up high and then placed on top. Men in general are quick to believe what they wish, that which they wish to be true, and as is the lost ancient high technology argument, it's so vital to ignore contrary facts to present the it's impossible, therefore, but if it's shown to be possible, well then they don't have an argument, and that's why it's necessary to censor that. Also, on a quick side note, that's a close-up of one of the reliefs. These things were actually painted colourful back in the day. The same thing in Egypt. Comes to mind Temple of Seti I. You can still see traces of the colour on there. We just tend to project what we want onto these things, and so people who grow up only using machines assume that dishwashers have been around since year dot. My grandma didn't have a washing machine. She did that old scrub board thing. They made their own butter, churning it. It's just all of human history has been about people being clever and using primitive, basic tools to do amazing things that in literally where people are sitting on a smartphone, going, well, we couldn't even do this now. The technology level of what your computer or device is at, if you're watching this video and you think that this is impossible technology, I don't know what to say. You're taking this awesome modern technology for granted, and you're taking for granted the fact that our ancestors worked hard to get us to the place that we are at now. Lost ancient high technology does damage. It really does. It is. You have the right to say silly things. You have the right to believe silly things. I've said them in the past, and I'm almost certainly saying them again. But when these lost ancient high technologists are even shown the very thing that they asked to be shown, they ignore it or actively censor it and then repeat it again, because ancient lost high technology and the megalithic community is one giant scam. SGD, have a good one.